What's up guys, it's Matt from the Rusty Raptor Prop Shop, and today we're going to be finishing up our Jurassic Park cane. We're going to show you how to take these 3D printed parts, distress them, and make them look like realistic bone. Stick around. Alright, now we're going to be using some super simple airbrush techniques on this project here. I've got a bottle of Wicked Colors airbrush paint. This is burnt orange. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check this one out specifically. I like this one for old textured bone and this kind of project just because it gives it a nice faded look and kind of gives it that aged appearance. What we're going to do is I got some toilet paper back here. I'm going to use that. I like to use that as wiping off. It's easier to tear off the package there. We'll put that there. Perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this stuff here and we're going to actually get right in the groove here and get a nice deep color in there. Now I'm spraying a lot in the groove and I'm going to slowly fade out on the edges as we go. And all you're doing is moving faster as you get towards the edges and kind of whip it away. Nice dark color in there. Now you can use any airbrush you want with this. I'm using currently an Iwata Revolution. This same technique will work with any cheap airbrush, Harbor Freight, anything you can find. This just happens to be what I have laying around the shop. Now, as you're coloring these in, between the two joints, you want to try to kind of fade out the color just a tiny bit, just so you can get that bone texture through the whole thing. You don't have a strong white look in there. You keep coloring each joint in, getting a lot of paint down into those joints, and kind of fading it out as you go. Now I'm going to do about 3 joints at a time here, just so the paint doesn't have too much time to dry in between. And then I'm going to take my paper towel here and we're going to wipe that down really good, getting all that paint kind of off there. Now it's going to pull that paint down the cane as we go too, so you're going to kind of blend that color in down. But basically what you're doing is just kind of getting some of the strong paint that's on there thinned out a little bit so it doesn't look so unnatural. That nice. Now you can use a lot of force on this. We're going to come back over this whole stuff in a few minutes anyways. We're just trying to get the texture down into those grooves right now, into those joints to get that darker tone there. Wipe this off really good here. Perfect. And now when you wipe this, you're actually going to get it down into the other grooves in the part too. Now this 3D print actually has little texture pieces of bone, so you're getting that color kind of stuck in those textured areas as well, which is going to help give that nice effect and make it look a lot more realistic than it did if you just kind of sprayed the whole thing and were done with it. Alright, it's about good there. We'll go up to the next little joints here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to put a heavy coat down into the actual joint itself, so that way the deep part of the joint gets a lot of paint, and then we're going to kind of slowly fade it out on both sides a little bit, moving the airbrush faster as we get out, back and forth like that. That'll give that nice kind of faded texture and feather it off into the different parts. Do a few joints like that again. Now as I move up the cane, I'm actually going to go darker and darker because that's where the cane's going to be more raw and when people are touching it more. So we're going to come back, we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're just going to take that piece of tissue there and we're going to rub it right in there and get all that paint taken back off that we just put on, which seems counterproductive, but you're really leaving a light coating of that on there, which is help age in that white paint we have on this. Now, like I said, this was a 3D printed cane that we put together. We used a coat of filler primer on it first, and then a coat of just off-white spray paint from the local hardware store. So there's nothing special about that. We just sprayed a real quick coat on there to give it that off-white look before we started spraying the orange on there. That's going to age it a lot more. So again, we're just wiping that paint off there, wiping as much as we possibly can. It's leaving a lot behind still. It's giving that nice appearance. Nice coating there. Perfect. Now there's no way to wipe too much off or mess this up. We're going to come back over and coat it multiple times anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal if you take too much off or don't take enough off. Get a close up of this for you. Perfect. You can kind of see some of that paint how it's getting stuck in the little grooves on there as well as the big joints. So again, we're just coming in to do the exact same thing. Paint those joints, get them real heavy. Get a nice coating on there. Now I'm spinning the cane in my fingers as I'm painting this so I can do it all at one time. If you're using a flat item, you wouldn't have to spin it and that kind of thing. But this cane, since we have the circularness to it, you can just kind of spin it as you go and paint in those grooves. a nice heavy coat the higher we go. This is also the bigger part of the cane, so you're going to see I'm seeing the cane darken up a lot more. We're going to come back, we're going to wipe that down again. Now I'm using the same tissue over and over again. It's getting gunked up with paint, but that paint's starting to get in those different grooves too. So the more we use it, the cane's getting a little more texture to it. Now I'm paying most attention to the middle parts between the two joints. That's why I'm trying to rub the most paint off, so I'm kind of leaving that paint, like I said, feathered up into those joints to give a darker appearance between the joints. Now we'll get another close-up of this real fast, kind of where you can see where it's happening here. You can see that darkness in the joints there, the little tiny 3D printed grooves are starting to get some paint stuck in those. So you can tell the difference between the textures. We're going to paint the top of it really super heavy like this right here. Again, there's a lot of grooves on the top, so I'm getting a nice, really strong coat of paint on there. But still real quick. We'll come right back. We're going to wipe all that back down again. Then we're going to move on to our final step, which is going to be to coat the entire cane with a real thin, light coat of paint, just to kind of blend everything back together and give it like an all-over appearance that it's been aged at the same time instead of how we're doing this in little spots. Now I'm going to pay a little more attention on the top edge here just because we have a lot more grooves in here, so it's going to take me a little longer to wipe this stuff out. I did a little heavier on top, so I've got a little more in there than I want, so I'm going to wipe that down a little bit more. There. Perfect. Really get down in that groove there. A little overspray that came off. Perfect. Sure all those parts are wiped down nice. We'll get a nice close up of this again, just kind of show you where we did the top edge. You can kind of see that paint I got down in those grooves there. And like I said, we're going to come back and just do a real light, fast coat over the entire cane. Now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of misting this as I'm spinning the cane, and I'm moving my airbrush extremely fast just so I don't get any hard spots anywhere. It's just putting a nice light coat of the orange over the entire thing so it'll all kind of have that nice aged look all in the same area. After this, I'm going to wipe it back down one more time, and it should be completely finished from there. We'll get some close-up shots to show you what's happening, and show you how that paint really gripped into those different grooves on there. Nice, almost finish this up a little bit here. Perfect. All right, let's do one more little wipe down. Perfect. Now there's some areas that paint got on there a little heavy. You can always wipe down a little more, but you want to make sure you don't get that off-white color back into there. So let's get some close-up photos in and show you what this is and get you finished up. And you can see that paint really got a nice tone and got that off-white, gave it a nice, textured look. And it's a simple technique to create some bone look.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out our video. If you liked it, make sure you click subscribe down below so you can catch all of our clips from video tutorials, reviews, prop builds, and more. And don't forget to check out rustyraptor.com. Use the promo code NEWCUSTOMER for 5% off your next order. See you later.